Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
The Mayfield now. Shot down the field. It's McMillan. He got it. No, picked off by Lewis. Lewis fought him for it and took it away. Jordan Lewis, the interception.
They're down at 10. Howell scanning the field, throwing over the middle. It's caught at the 15. Dami Brown. He'll take it to the house for the touchdown.
Cousins wide open. Touchdown Vikings. Johnny Munt.
Mullins. Nobody open at first. Keeps it alive. Nick Mullins lets it go. Touchdown. Harrison Bryant.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome out to the Players' Championship Day 2, Tony. It just struck me Harrison Bryant's getting more run on Jaguars Today this week than he has in his entire career anywhere, I think, with that highlight right there. So, anyway, I guess we're just going to run it back on the weather. A little bit warmer. They're cranking up the temperature into around 80, 81 degrees today. So Alexa tells me. Anyway, good morning, Alexa. Hope I just set off somebody's Alexa with that. If you're listening at home, we are live out at the Players Day 2, and they're moving up the leaderboard early. Tone, J.J. Spawn is 3 under through 7. He's your solo leader at 9 under par. Min Woo Lee and Rory McIlroy are tied a stroke back. Rory is 3 under through 5 today.
Yeah, he started on the back. He tears up the back here.
He chipped in on 10. That was a good start. Added a couple more birdies along the way. Scotty Scheffler birdied 11 and 12 in that same group, but they just gave one back with a bogey at 14. He had it to 5 under. He's at 4 under right now, but tied for 11th. Scotty's in striking distance. Well, to throw up a 68, 67 today, and Scotty's going to be right there on the weekend.
Yeah, he's to that point in his career where everyone just kind of pulls for Scotty. You know,
he's very likable, I think,
right.
and I think there's something we talked to Hal Sutton about this yesterday. Having that dominant golfer at the top, it kind of draws eyes in.
He's the reason to tune in. Like, I don't watch the week-to-week tournaments on tour, but every now and then I'll turn on ESPN Plus at home, and if they have the Scheffler featured group on their stream, it's like, I can watch that.
If Scheffler's playing, it's kind of like one of the standards of, is it a big tournament? And that's probably the same for a number of guys, but he's the easy guy to pick out of the list.
For sure.
So,
and
anyway.
He's won it back-to-back years.
Right here. Right.
Going
for
like
the
he's going to be in
3-peat.
contention for a third year in a row.
Absolutely. So, got to make a few more putts than he did yesterday, but isn't that the story of my life as well? So, good morning to all, including Eric Murray, Tony, of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I warned you after they signed him or agreed to terms with him on Monday. I think I told you Tuesday morning. I spent the entire day Monday calling him Eric Harris in my head. Don't know why, right? They're 2 syllables. They both had that middle double R in there. So yesterday on the air, and I'm glad I got called out on this on social media, I called him Eric Thomas. Again, the 2 syllables, but now I'm getting further away. There's no R's in Thomas. I don't know where I'm getting it from, but those guys, man, it's like for years I call Aaron Rodgers Brett Favre. I don't know why that is. I'm sure, if Eric Murray's listening, he's like, why couldn't you just call me Earl Thomas? Like, if you're going to get me mistaken for a really good player at my position. So apologies probably won't be the last time because I'm not smart, right? I can absolutely get myself into a brain cramp corner like I have with his name. And so hopefully he plays so well that it forces me to be more on point with that. So Eric Murray, welcome to Jacksonville. Also, yesterday, Tony, this is classic because I've been doing this as long as you've known me. I'll mention, hey, I got a nice little item I want to talk about coming up, and then never get to it. And yesterday, I did add, there were a few, and we've since added one to the list from Tony Pauline. Players that the Jags are showing interest in at the various pro days. And sometimes it's just a case of, hey, they like this guy. Other times it kind of informs you of their process. Are they looking at certain small school guys? Are they looking at sleeper players at big programs? Or, not the frontline names. We assume, everybody's going to be interested in the elite prospects, and that makes total sense, right? So this was from the Western Michigan Pro Day from a few days ago. Bilal Cohn is a safety who, tell me that man doesn't look yoked, Tone. I mean, he looks like a well-put-together safety right there. Ran a 4.43 40 at the Combine and was said to have met with the Jaguars at length before his workout at Western Michigan. They seem very high on him. Did I say corner or safety? He's a corner. Safety, I think he's a corner. There's another small school safety that they're looking at. But Bilal Cohn out of Western Michigan is a corner. See if I've got all these different pages open here. See if I can navigate.
4.43 for a safety is flying.
Well, another guy they're looking at, apparently from Georgia, Warren Brinson. I don't know a ton about him, who's a defensive tackle there, 315-pounder who ran a 5.09 40, which is pretty good at that size,
bad,
right?
Yeah.
And had a 10-yard split of 1.76, which is considered quick for his size, again, at the position. Tony Pauline reported he did great at position drills in Indianapolis. Did a few things at Georgia's Pro Day, short shuttle, bench press, did 27 reps there, and reportedly drawing a lot of interest from the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know how you determine that other than you see some of their personnel, maybe off to the side, chatting a guy up. But nevertheless, I know people, like the whatever intel is out there as far as that goes. And there was one more here, see if I can find it, Tone, with the Jags. Had the Western Michigan one with Bilal Cohn. I've got these all in different tags. All right, here we go. This one is a safety. Let's see here. This makes for great radio as I scroll through. It is like you put on your phone right to the point, and then it jumps around. All right, this one is Stephen Douglas from Northwood.
Oh, wow.
No idea, right?
Yeah.
This from the Gene Smith School of Drafting. Doesn't mean you can't find guys at these. This is at Western Michigan's Pro Day, where a bunch of guys, I guess, from other schools participated in the area, kind of thing. Anyway, he played only 5 games last year due to a groin injury. He's 5'11", 192, but runs a 4.44 in the 40 with a 41.5-inch vertical. Whoa. Right? So, I mean, this dude is a crazy athlete, 10'4" in the broad jump. I mean, these are fantastic numbers. Did 16 reps on the bench, whatever. Receiving interest from the Bears, Jaguars, and Arizona Cardinals, according to Tony Pauline. Okay. So, just a few names off the radar a little bit at some of the smaller schools, and one guy at Georgia who I'm not as familiar with as some of the top prospects there. And look, when you got 10 picks in a draft that is not considered a super draft, right? I mean, you're going to find players. I guarantee you somebody will find players in the 6th and 7th round that are contributors for a number of years in the National Football League. It's the way it works every year. Obviously, they got to fit your system, all that stuff. But you got to mine the depths a little bit here, right? We're not going to Michigan and taking defensive tackles from Michigan all day long. Maybe we'll take one. Maybe it'll be, the one you think. Maybe it'll be the other guy. Who knows, right? But there are only so many guys from these premium schools. And somebody asked me about Will Johnson from Michigan, the corner, right, who for a while there had been, I think, the apple of a lot of people's eye in a cornerback class outside of Travis Hunter. And I think that the question right now is about his speed. Didn't do anything, didn't run at the Combine. I've seen him kind of fall in mock drafts to, like, the middle of the first round. I don't know, man. Is he worth the top 10 pick? Maybe. Is he worth the pick outside the top 20? Maybe. I don't know. But I do think when they're looking at some of these good athletes in the secondary from smaller schools, when you look at what they've done, going out getting Jordan Lewis, Jarian Jones, we're going to hear from James Gladstone coming up today. Spoke yesterday, obviously, talking about, having flexibility, letting these guys compete. I do think that they're probably going to draft a corner. I don't think they're necessarily going to make it a high priority in this draft. I think you could play with this cornerback group that you have right now here in Jacksonville if you had to line up tomorrow. Yeah,
I think you could, and I don't know that you would have felt that way a week ago, but I think right now, if they had to go into the season with this group of guys, that they'd be able to field a team, right, doing it with the group that they have on the roster right now. It doesn't mean that you can't make it a priority to add at least one more name. when everything is said and done to what they're doing there. But we'll see.
I just think they have more pressing needs, and I get it. You don't just fill draft holes with needs. It's got to be a quality player as well, but I think there'll be enough quality players at the other positions that have bigger issues, in my mind, on this football team. It's interesting just listening to Gladstone yesterday. We'll get to some of that commentary coming up here. You could easily see him interpret it like, hey, you know what? Yeah, we'll probably draft offensive line, but maybe it doesn't feel like quite the priority it is, or it was at the beginning of the week. Because we've got two guys that project to be starters, whether there's, whether the center's a long-term solution or a multi-year solution, I don't know. I feel like Patrick McCarry, they're looking at him as a guy who's going to play right away. And, yeah, they love the flexibility that he can play a bunch of positions, but I think they want him to settle in at one of those guard spots and make it his.
They talked about him as a guard yesterday. They talked about the flexibility, but he's going to be a starting guard on the
right. So, and I mean, if you just go out and sign a guy to not a top-of-the-market contract, but a decent, sizable contract to come in, he's clearly going to start at guard. Are they going to be throwing some of these interior offensive line picks that we've been mocking to them in the second, third, fourth rounds? There's depth. Like, we love the idea of building up waves of these players, but they need guys who can play right away. And James Gladstone made it clear yesterday, they're not in the business right now of signing any vets that are just going to block the rookies from getting a chance to get on the field. They want this team to turn over, get younger, and so we'll see if their plan works out. That fits in with today's Chad and Sandy Real Estate question of the day, basically looking at the last overall week of what the Jags have done, releasing Evan Ingram, releasing a number of other players as well. Evan Ingram, obviously the most notable there, trading Christian Kirk to Houston, agreeing to terms with the 9 guys, signing them. So we ask you today, which of these best describes how you feel about the collective roster decisions the Jags have made in the past week, not just the free agents. I'm a true believer is option 1, and obviously these go from most confident down to least confident. I'm a true believer. That's option 1. Option 2, the floor is raised. Maybe not high end, but I feel like overall we've gotten a little bit better. Option 3, still too many holes. Look, and more than one thing can be true, right? You can raise the floor, still have too many holes, and then finally we lost more than we gained. In other words, feel that still can't. It's a little inexplicable to you how we let some of these guys go at this point in time. And I'm not saying it is inexplicable, but I can understand how somebody would look at it and not have a clue as to why Evan Ingram's not on this roster right now.
Look, we've talked about that since they made the decision.
Absolutely.
I can understand the mentality, why they made the move that they did with Evan Ingram. That doesn't mean that I'm in favor of them moving on from Evan Ingram. I'm okay with them expressing this is what we want and going forward with what they want. Whether or not it works or not, we'll find out on the field this fall.
Dylan Denmark, good morning. How are you?
What's up, Mike?
Headquarters. How are you, man?
I'm
Everything
good, man. Everything's good. I'm headed out to the TPC after the show, so have a tall boy White Claw on deck for your boy.
Oh, I got a little cooler under the table here, loaded for you, ready to go.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Are we in a cash-free environment out here? Is that? I think that's. Is that the case?
No, I wouldn't be surprised.
I feel like it is. I feel like I've heard that this week, which is always odd to me, right? Like, go look at take $1 out of your wallet if you're one of these people that still has cash on you. Good for all debts, public and private, right? Isn't that what it says? So how are you going to refuse my George Washington here?
Yeah.
You'll take it as a tip, I bet. Anyway.
It's fun to pay cash places where they don't get it a lot, and I get to watch the cashier kind of struggle with
math.
Yeah.
Oh, God. All right. Dylan, I got you a present this morning. I would get super excited about it. Is that me? Yeah. It's my phone going off. I don't recognize the number. Should I answer it? No.
Spam?
Voicemail.
They're probably interested in the property you don't have.
Well, that happens a lot. I don't have a lot of property. I have one property, and that's it. And you can't have it. But I did. I saw something today that made me think of you and our pre-show gatherings in the morning, and you'll get that next Monday. So I'm not going to spoil the surprise. I'm sure. I mean, it's going to be fantastic. Something you never would have thought to get for yourself. So McManus coming by, or not literally physically coming by, but he'll join us in about 20 minutes from now, maybe a little bit less than that. I don't know, right around that. Time, Tony, the whole math thing, right? I shouldn't pick on cashiers.
Bottom of the hour.
I used to work in a gas station and run the register, so I was pretty good at reading the screen. It would tell me how much change to give to somebody. But, yes, Tom McManus is going to join us. He is not out here on the grounds today, but he'll give his thoughts to the week that was in Jaguar football. A lot going on. By the way, I heard Hick and Prosser, I don't know if you heard this on the way in. Good luck to J.P. Shadrick. Did you hear this story?
I saw that he was one of the two that they were considering.
Taylor Zarzar and J.P. Shadrick are apparently the finalists to be the next voice of the Tennessee Titans. Now, that would make JP one of the most hated traders in the history of Jacksonville, but that's okay. JP, you do you, right? It's all about you, JP. Huh? No, congrats. Look, JP is phenomenal at football play-by-play, in my opinion, right? So, well-deserving if he gets that job. And, look, that's the business, right? I mean, players, your favorite player may leave one day and go play for the Tennessee Titans. I don't know how many people's favorite player was Calvin Ridley, but there's one example, right? JP just misses him so much. But, look, there are only 32 of these gigs out there, and JP's got the chops to do it. So, I wish him the absolute best in his pursuit of that.
I'm sure if he did, we'd be having him on to do a media mock draft every now and then for the Titans.
Yeah, I wonder. I guess he'd have to earn it, but we love JP. All right, so we got updates for you from the players every 20 minutes or even more frequently than that, as it's been a good morning for scoring already. Great conditions. I think the wind's going to pick up a little bit over the afternoon and tomorrow. Maybe a little rain on the way Sunday, so put yourself in good position on the leaderboard. I think the advantage may work out to the afternoon guys yesterday, right? Because you get pretty good calm conditions yesterday afternoon. You're getting perfect conditions this morning. So go post the number, and let's see if they can chase you down. All right, Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark here with you. 641-1010 on the phone lines with a text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Hop in the YouTube virtual studio chat. On social media at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, and at 1010XL Denmark.
Ain't no laws when you're drinking claws, baby.
A bucket full of them. All right. And finally, your Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day. Once again, which of these best describes how you feel about the collective roster decisions the Jags have made in the past week? Trades, releases, signings, whatever. I'm a true believer. The floor is raised, still too many holes, or we lost more than we gained. We're not heading in the right direction around these parts, Tony Smith. All right, that would be that option, at least. I didn't say that as a statement of fact, but that could be your opinion if you vote option 4 in the poll today. All right, we are rolling along, so stop by, see us out here in the Palm Valley Village if you're coming out here before noon, if you're on your way out. And you got time, stop by, say hello. We've met some great folks over the course of the week out here, and we will keep our eyes on the leaderboard, talking Jaguar football with you for the next 2 hours on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Man, you get outside, you want to feel good, you want to feel like you can move around, and when you drop those pounds that have been hampering you for who knows how long, you're going to feel so much better about yourself. Awaken 180 Weight Loss can help you achieve your goals. Set your goal weight, whatever that number happens to be. They'll set up a realistic path forward for you to get there. You'll lose a bunch of weight quickly, then you'll settle in, drop 4 to 5 pounds per week with Awaken 180. Who wouldn't like to knock off 20 pounds a month at that pace and have yourself in tip-top shape, certainly by the summer or football season, whatever your goal is? Once you hit that goal weight, Awaken 180 can help you maintain that number for a long, long time. It's free coaching and support for life. It's the backbone of the Awaken 180 program. And after 10-plus years, over 24,000 clients, losing a combined 750,000 pounds. Go online to awaken180weightloss.com and schedule your free consultation. Don't wait. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Here's a 1010XL Players Championship Leaderboard update.
I'm Molly McDonald with your Players Championship update, brought to you by Taco Lou with Tacos on 12 and Heroes Lawn Care. Day 2 of the 51st Players Championship is officially underway down in Ponte Vedra. Looking at the current leaderboard during round 2, we have JJ Spawn, who continues to lead the way, now hitting back-to-back birdies on 6 and 7, currently at 9 under and 3 under through 8 this round. Rory McIlroy sits in second, tied with Minwoo Lee, both at 8 under. Minwoo Lee is 3 under through 8 this morning, starting on the back 9 and just hit a birdie on 16 to move up. McIlroy at 3 under through 6 currently. Your last year's Players Champion Scotty Scheffler currently at 4 under with 1 under through 6 this morning. Stay tuned in to 1010XL 92.5 FM for all your Players Championship leaderboard updates. Your next update from the Players in about 20 minutes.
Are you ready to reclaim your backyard? Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, Surfside Pools is the trusted name for expert pool design. Family owned and operated, they offer pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools transform your backyard into the oasis that you crave. Are you ready to float happy? Visit surfsidepools.net or call 246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, where luxury meets leisure.
License number CPC 044080.
Get a healthy start in 2025. The Florida Department of Health in Duval County is here to encourage you to get healthy and stay healthy this year. They have a dedicated team who are committed to providing quality care. The goal is to protect, promote, and improve the health of you and your family. Visit duval.floridahealth.gov to learn more about their health programs and services. That's duval.floridahealth.gov.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Hey everybody, Jennifer Marion with Randy Marion Cadillac in Jacksonville here to say hello, and we'd sure like to have your business.
You know what? They're going to love the king of price.
My dad believes in making great deals and having a great selection in stock.
Cadillac XT4s, XT5s, and XT6s, and Escalades.
The all-electric Cadillac Lyriq.
CT4s and CT5s.
Cadillac luxury and selection is just waiting for you.
At Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
And don't forget, tell them Jennifer sent ya.
Are you embarrassed by your ugly, cracked concrete driveway? Stop by Stone Core on Phillips Highway for all your outdoor living needs. Let them show you how a durable paver driveway can enhance your home. Visit stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
Big names, new jerseys.
To me, the most important aspect of winning is chemistry.
Follow the free agent frenzy built by Superior Fence and Rail and Roland Leash Plumbing. Tune up the off-season with AA Automotive and 1010XL.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is giving away free beer again this year for the Madness Tournament. You can enter the bracket challenge at 1010XL.com right now. Monday morning, you can make your picks. Then when the tourney starts Thursday, print your bracket out and bring it into any Mr. Chubby's Wings location during the games. Every game you pick right, you get a free Miller Lite, and bracket challenge winner gets 2 tickets to Welcome to Rockville on Saturday. See Mr. Chubby's Wings Facebook for full contest details.
Have you or someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI and all criminal offenses. I've been named the best DUI attorney in the state, and David has been named the best criminal defense lawyer in Jacksonville. In your battle with the justice system, there is only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645.
Cool Cats Heating and Cooling, the coolest cats in town, setting the standard in our hometown. Quality service, the best around. Coolidge is the cat that cares about your heating and about your air. Cool Cats Heating and Cooling, the coolest cats in town.
A lot goes into taking care of your property. You need equipment with more reliability and versatility built in, like Kubota BX and L Series compact tractors to get the job done right, Z Series mowers that deliver a quality cut, and Sidekick utility vehicles where durability meets speed. Visit Coastal Equipment for a demo today.
Greater power for the great outdoors. Coastal Equipment.
Coastal Equipment on New Kings Road and in McClenny.
Ahead, we build platforms for digital business. We help create your platform for digital business by weaving together advances in cloud infrastructure, intelligent operations, and modern applications. Digital business is comprised of 5 pillars. We call them imperatives because they're a must-have, not a nice-to-have. We enterprise cloud, integrated security, scaled DevOps, intelligent operations, and relentless automation. Need help with digital transformation? Ahead. Learn, grow, achieve.
Need protection? Call Craig and Christine Kaprosky at Goosehead Insurance. The Kaproskys are a husband and wife team committed to finding you the right coverage at the right price in just a few short minutes. For home, auto, flood, or specialty insurance, Craig and Christine Kaprosky are the answer. Craig.Kaprosky at Goosehead.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
That's my experience most recently with the Los Angeles Rams, and it's something that I feel like I have a unique capacity to take on with the current position that we hold, which is 10 picks this year, 11 picks next year. And so with Pro Free Agency, we wanted to set ourselves up so that we feel like we had the flexibility to address any position that we wanted to at any pick point that lies on the horizon, and feel like we're currently in a position to do just that.
James Gladstone, Jaguars general manager, he's 34-20. He's not 24, right? He looks so young. Would we ever, no matter how many years went by, get bulky in a light hoodie and a vest at the presser?
Probably not.
I don't know. I just feel like everything's cool in James Gladstone's world right now. Let's see. On the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, we're going to get into this Gladstone audio coming up as he spoke yesterday, which is kind of a signal that the early wave is done. Right?
Yeah.
It's settled, and we're going to go out there, and we'll get to the Cooper Kupp issue coming up here in a moment. The Commissioner Duval, glad you finally caught on to your Eric Thomas calls. Yes, mea culpa, man. I get on people. I hate it when people mispronounce people's names when there is a path to find out. If you're just reading it for the first time and you're trying to guess, fine, whatever, but this is not a complicated name. Eric Murray. I will endeavor to do better, so appreciate that. Let's see. Somebody asked, congrats to JP, or good luck to JP. We'll see if he's able to get that. JP is awesome, whether in Duval or Tennessee. And with Baselli gone now, and maybe JP, Jags Happy Hour won't be the same. Well, that may be the case. It won't be the same.
Will not be the same.
Doesn't mean it'll be worse.
Yeah.
Just won't be the same. There's no question about it. And then somebody asked this. Obviously, we're not a golf show, right? But we follow what's going on in the world of sports and all that. And we're out here at the Players, so there's going to be a little bit of golf talk on Jaguars Today. And you saw the guy who won the college tournament, right? Kind of heckled Rory and got tossed. Did you see this during the practice round the other day? And he won the tournament right across the street, right? And over the weekend, and I guess he plays for Texas. I don't even know his name. Doesn't matter. But because it got brought up, I wasn't thinking about discussing it. He basically, I guess Rory during the practice round hooked one into the water on 18, and somebody brought up how he gagged at the Masters, which he did, right? Obviously, right? I mean, he had a huge lead on Sunday, and he's hitting it over by the Butler cabin, right? I mean, and so it's a little bit of the heckling, and I get it. And Rory came up to him like after the shot and like took his phone away and like, hey, bud, you don't. I don't know who you think you are. Yeah. I mean, I know you think you are, but that's my phone. He got his phone back and everything, and he issued a big apology, and the program got asked about it, the whole 9 yards. And basically, the question was, look, it wasn't vulgar, it wasn't, exceedingly personal.
No,
I'm sure.
I can remember the stories. There was a nickname for Phil Mickelson.
Yeah, Fig Jam.
Yeah.
Right, we all know what it is.
Yeah, like that kind of, like I can remember someone being asked to leave when they were yelling that at him.
Hey, Dylan, do you know what Fig Jam stands for? Don't say it if you do.
No,
yeah,
sir.
You're not allowed to.
You know? All right, the first word, you can guess what the first word is, right? So blank, I'm good, just ask me. Okay?
All right.
Blank, I'm good, just ask me. That's Fig Jam, right? That's an acronym for blank, I'm good. Just
I'll start
ask
using that around the kids, see if they
like
catch
friends.
up on it.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Just ask me, but it's not friends, right? We all know it's not friends. So anyway,
it's so Phil.
So Yeah, I mean, and he got tossed for he got tossed for doing that. Whatever. I agree. I thought I'm like, really? That seems a little.
Come on,
that
man.
seems a little. I mean, I get it. It's a little decorum. The golf world's not the same as the football world. We're talking about Hal Sutton yesterday. You know, they let him go nuts at 16 at the Waste Management Open at Phoenix, and here at 17, it's a similar potential atmosphere with the stadium course and everybody.
All the years we'd be over at 17 today. Right, like we'd be over in the tent there for several years.
Yeah,
that's what we're doing.
Great.
And I felt so like you have those poor people that are trying to they just hold their hands up as if
we're like Jaguars Today.
Everyone's gonna be quiet over there. It's like it's not exactly the Waste Management Open where it's just go as nuts as you want to go.
It's not anything like that. I mean, it's a great atmosphere,
but
roaring crowd. They know when to roar. They know when to ooh and on, whatever.
But it's very noisy. And, you know, like I've done the Augusta thing. I got to go up there a few years ago with my dad. And everywhere on the course where when they need you to be quiet, there's nowhere that you can basically hear even a murmur. Like there is something about that at that place where that's typically what you see on a golf course anyway. Here at the Players, over there in that corner at 16 and 17, there's not going to be any quiet. It's not going to be a ruckus environment, you know, but
nobody's going to yell in the middle of your swing.
Like, it's not that kind of thing. But for golfers that virtually everywhere else they go professionally, all they get is quiet every time they're going to swing. It is different.
Well, you pair that with the embarrassment of hitting one in the water when you've got one of the biggest greens out there.
Right,
and
when you have everyone going, ooh, but inside they're going, yeah.
And you got a wedge in your hand, and they're like, that's number 72 in the drink today. All right, let's get a couple of thoughts here from James Gladstone. We'll hear from him throughout the course of the show today. Jaguars general manager will discuss with Tom McManus coming up. But the Cooper Kupp issue seems to be dead, moved on from. He was asked yesterday about the potential level of interest the Jags might have in Cooper Kupp.
I got a ton of respect for Cooper. He was actually in the first draft that I ever had the chance to be a part of. And throughout the course of his career in Los Angeles, he is one of the purest to form wide receivers, change the dynamic for what's actually asked of those guys in modern football. And you know, I think at this point in time, it's fair to say in pro free agency, we're always open to every opportunity that presents itself, but time will truly tell.
Yeah, I mean, that was as kindly of, we're not in the Cooper Kupp market, right? Mm-hmm. For whether it's Cooper Kupp is looking for too much money, which a lot of people think he is, or not. That, I mean, he's entitled to ask for whatever he wants, right? Yeah. And if you don't want to pay it, don't pay it. But that the price tag is too much for the Jags. But the whole at this time kind of thing. Time will tell, you know, and time will tell, like, if he wants to lower his price. Maybe we'll circle back, but
you don't say no.
I think I think that was a nice letdown way to do it.
But it was fun if you watched the press conference. A quarter of the way through the question being asked, you could see Gladstone just start smiling. Like
he knew it was coming. He had to know it was coming.
He knows it's coming. Yeah. He's got the experience that he has with Cooper Kupp, and he goes back through it and talks about what kind of a good pro he is, all those kind of things. Apparently, Dallas was hard and heavy in on it last night. I wake up this morning, it's like Dallas is not the leader for the Cooper Kupp thing. It's like I don't know who the leader is right now for Cooper Kupp. I don't know who that would be. I don't expect that it's going to be Jacksonville.
They say Dallas and Seattle.
Yeah, and it feels like it's going to be less money than he would have been getting for the Rams this year if he had stayed on that contract, but I don't think it's going to be all that much less.
I already have he and CeeDee Lamb on the same dynasty team, so I'd like to split them up and get him into Seattle, please.
Yeah, and continuing to talk about the wide receivers on the roster a little bit here with the general manager yesterday, Dami Brown on a one-year deal being added for $10 million. He was asked about Brown and says that he is still an ascending young player.
Yeah, I think it's easy to look at Diami's career path and trajectory and know that he's ascending, right? The way that he closed out last season was nothing short of impressive, and we look for him to carry that into really his one-year contract with us. He took a bet on himself that a year from now, given the opportunity that he sees here with the Jacksonville Jaguars, that he's going to take another step and earn an even larger contract. And, you know, what he provides just on a vertical plane and in run-after-catch scenarios is something that is extremely exciting, extremely alluring for our offensive staff. And And I think that he'll be able to take another step to expand his game, and we'll see him come to life in the same ways that he did towards the end of the season with Washington this last season right off the bat, well as also expanding his role to fit what we're intending on doing this coming season.
If you watch Severance, he may get slapped on the wrist like Mr. Milchick for using words that are too big and unnecessary on a vertical plane. How about deep speed? He's got some deep speed, Tony. I get what you're saying, James Gladstone.
Football language season.
But I did come away from that thinking they're envisioning a sizable or an opportunity to have a sizable role here for Dami Brown in this offense. And I don't know, like, I don't know how likely the Ted McMillan thing was anyway. This shouldn't preclude them from going that direction if they want to, but they're going to give Dami Brown a lot of opportunities. You don't pay a guy $10 million on spec when you've never really done much other than having a nice little one late season bump and a decent playoff run, right? And at least you shouldn't be unless you're pretty confident that guy's going to have a sizable role in your offense.
Sure, and we'll see exactly what that's going to look like, but as we've discussed all week, I don't think anything they've done in free agency prevents them from doing anything in the draft. So I'll stick with that. I don't know how likely Ted McMillan ever was to be the guy. And I'm sure whatever names they have circled at the top of their draft board, I don't know how far down that list you have to go before they get to Ted McMillan anyway. In that kind of, and maybe the Dami Brown signing is an indication of that kind of thing, but I don't know if it's an indication of much beyond that. They're pretty confident that Dami Brown can be an impact player for him in the role that they have envisioned for him.
Time will tell. Time will tell. Tom McManus on the other side joining us here on this Friday live at the Players, the featured group of Scheffler, McElroy, Schauffele, all birdieing 16. They started on the back nine today, so everybody moving up a stroke up the leaderboard there. We'll have Players updates for you every 20 minutes, if not sooner. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Here's a 1010XL Players Championship Leaderboard update.
I'm Molly McDonald with your Players Championship update, brought to you by Kingfish Pest Control and Sawgrass Asset Management. A beautiful 68 degrees down in Ponte Vedra at the 51st Players Championship. We now have a two-way tie for first on the leaderboard with JJ Spawn and your 2019 Players Champion Rory McIlroy both at 9 under. JJ Spawn continues to hold his spot, sitting at 3 under through 9 this morning, with Rory McIlroy moving up to that number 1 spot as well after hitting a birdie on 16, now at 4 under through 7 for this round. Trailing closely behind them, we have Minwoo Lee and Akshay Bhatia, both sitting at 8 under. Akshay Bhatia started on the back 9 and hit a back-to-back birdies on 13 and 14 to help him move up. Stay tuned in to 1010XL 92.5 FM for all your Players Championship leaderboard updates. Your next update from the Players in about 20 minutes.
Call 904-500-COOL. Ideal Conditions.
Want to support a locally and veteran-owned company? If you need a new AC, we should be your first and only call. Ideal Conditions keeps you cool. Just ask your AC. Call 904-500-COOL or visit idealconditionsjacks.com.
Call 904-500-COOL.
Honk if you see us. Call for service.
Ideal Conditions.
Idealconditionsjacks.com.
Don't miss the Players Championship, March 11th through 16th at TPC Sawgrass. This can't-miss event features a variety of activities for every fan to enjoy, from delicious bites to the Sawgrass Splash. There are endless fan enhancements that will make for a memorable experience. Plus, watch the top PGA Tour players, including back-to-back champion Scotty Scheffler, take on the iconic stadium course featuring the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
Need a fast casual option that's healthy, fresh, and delicious? Choose the Great Greek Mediterranean Grill. Gyros, salads, hummus, and more made completely fresh right as you order. Off 210 and St. John's Parkway. The Great Greek Mediterranean Grill.
This is Jaguars Today Friday. Brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
The Jacksonville Icemen are back at home this Friday and Saturday evening at VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Join us Friday as the Icemen take on the Orlando Solar Bears for Wizards Night, presented by Florida Department of Health. Come out and wear your house colors. Then on Saturday, the Icemen close out their home set against the Savannah Ghost Pirates. Game time at 7. Tickets available on Ticketmaster or by calling 904-602-PUCK. Iceman Hockey is #Frozen Frenzy.
Hey gang, Prosser here. Are you ready to sell your home? I got an easy game plan. Call Chad and Sandy, the only agents I would call to sell my home. The economy is showing positive signs. It might be time to sell, and your home will get you the price you want with Chad and Sandy. It's easy to find out. Get friendly expert help from the Jacksonville agents who eat, drink, and sleep local real estate. Call agents Chad and Sandy Newman. Maybe you're worried about costly repairs or upgrades needed to sell your home. Guess what? You don't need to. No required costly repairs. Pick your move date. There are no long-term contracts, and you can cancel at any time. But it comes down to the Chad and Sandy guarantee. Your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. All problems have disappeared. Pete in Lakeshore says, I was in a pickle. I needed to cash out on a rental property fast. I was struggling to rent. I heard Chad and Sandy on the radio, called. I had an offer for full asking price within days. Join the local success stories by calling Chad and Sandy at 904-414-6200 or going to chadandsandy.com.
There's a lot on the line in a divorce. Your home, savings, maybe even your kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce and the unexpected directions it can take, you need a partner you can count on. I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. Don't let divorce take more than it has to.
Offices in Jacksonville. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's attorneys. Lisa Cargis, Florida resident partner. Rick Julius, licensed in Pennsylvania only. Online at CordellCordell.com.
Hey, this is Darren with One Call Lawn and Pest Control. Since 2011, we've taken great pride in being Northeast Florida's premier lawn, termite, and pest control company. Our technicians receive thorough training year-round, focusing on exceptional customer service with meticulous attention to detail. One Call serves the greater Jacksonville area, including St. Augustine, Orange Park, and Fernandina. We're eager for the opportunity to earn your business and welcome you to the One Call family. Call or text us for a free quote, 413-8377.
This is Hayes Carline for First Florida Credit Union. I bank with First Florida Credit Union because I trust them. I can always count on them when it comes to the vast services they provide. First Florida Credit Union was voted Best Credit Union in the 2024 Best of Bold City Community Choice Awards. And it's easy to see why. I go to the branch off 210 in St. Johns County and the new Durbin location, but they have 10 branches in the Jacksonville area. You need to be banking with First Florida Credit Union. They're enriching people every day. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity Lender.
Keeping kids active is a full-time job for parents. Look no further, though, than I-9 Sports, covering Duval, St. John's, and Clay to get your youngster in the game. Spring and summer registration open right now for flag football, soccer, t-ball, and basketball. Plus, all new girls volleyball at Duval Charter Bay Meadows. I-9 Sports with fields and gyms all over 3 counties. And the best thing is I-9 Sports offers sports year-round so kids can always find a sport to play. i9sports.com. Enter 1010 in the promo code.
This is Greg Huntington, a.k.a. The Mangler. I'm on the winning team at Waste Management. WM is the largest sustainability company in North America. If your business needs sustainable environmental services for waste removal and recycling collection, then you can count on the industry leader of WM to deliver results. Your services will be completed in a timely, safe, and eco-friendly manner. Go to WM.com/Duval. That's WM.com/Duval and get signed up today. If anyone can talk trash, it's The Mangler.
Need or want cash? Beach's Jewelry and Pawn has cash available. Ready to buy guitars, surfboards, jewelry, firearms, tools, and especially gold. They need it all, selling or pawning. Get cash on the spot at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Mac in the Middle, Tom McManus. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service. On 1010XL.
All right, Rory McIlroy tied for the lead at 9 under, Tony. Maybe he needs to get somebody tossed from a practice round every time he comes out here. And it's working well so far. 9 under par, 4 under on his day. Scotty Scheffler is at, where's he at right now? 5 under, so 4 off the lead, but plenty within striking distance, tied for 6th at the moment. Tom McManus every Friday with us here on Jaguars Today, and even though he is not here with his physical presence, his spirit permeates the grounds out here at TPC Sawgrass. Tommy Mack, how are you this morning?
Hey, good morning, fellas. I just had a thought. I think these golfers should hire, retired linebackers and just take the hecklers out. You know what I mean? Just kind of hang out in the crowd and give them a big shot to the side and knock them down and carry their ass out. I think that'd be
You're
good.
not saying carry the bag. You're saying, incognito behind the ropes, and if it gets a little testy, then,
Just kind of go over there and shut them up.
You don't want to end
good job.
Right, you don't want to permanently disable them. You just want to hurt them today, Tom. I think
Ruin their day.
We've learned.
I just want to ruin their day. That's right, not their career. That's
All right,
for
so
sure.
Tommy, just give a quick overview. We'll get into some specifics here, but we talked about Evan Ingram and Christian Kirk last week with you. We knew those were coming down, but what do you make of their approach this week in free agency?
Yeah, no, I do like it. Look, I think they found some starters. I know they did at center, at guard. I like what James Gladstone said about Robert Hainsley, how he was a target. He was a priority. I like how he mentioned, you watch this guy play. Now, granted, albeit in a small, study, but you watch him finish through the whistle. He's like, those are the kind of guys we want. So I think we're going to see a little revamped attitude on that offensive line, which I like. I think overall, they did a good job. Listen, you found a compliment to Brian Thomas Jr., the tight ends. I know Hunter Long from Boston College. That guy, listen, he can move. He's not just some kind of plotting, blocking tight end. You can get him involved in the passing game, and he's got good hands and can get open. And I like the O-lineman. I like McCarry a lot. I think that's a good pick. I remember him from, watching in the playoffs. He stood out. I'd like to see a defensive tackle, but maybe in the draft we'll see. I would imagine we would. I tell you, the safety I don't know that much about, but I was hoping, honestly, I was kind of hoping for like a Jeremy Chin or, a Reed from Kansas City. I think those guys, after Holland, you could, do really well with those guys. But overall, I think it was, listen, you found your guys. And, again, it's the kind of player that they're looking for. Finishing blocks, being aggressive, the kind of right attitude that we need. So I think out of the 9, they've done that at the very least.
Tommy, the first name was cornerback Jordan Lewis, and immediately we're all trying to figure out what does that mean for Jarian Jones and how they're going to put all these guys out there. I know yesterday Gladstone basically said, we'll see how it looks when we get them all on the field before they make any of those kind of decisions. How do you feel about Jarian Jones if they do move him to the outside this year as a corner?
I think he can play either one. I think he can play nickel. I think he can play outside. I think he's the kind of attitude I'm looking for. That's for sure. Got a little bit of swag, a little bit of talk, backs it up, can be physical. So I feel really comfortable with Jarian Jones as my outside corner. I think they're still going to, we know they're still going to address that position, right? So who else are they going to bring in at the corner spot? More the merrier, right, for the competition. But, Lewis, you hear good things about, what do they say about him? After Micah, he's the next guy. Like they really wanted to try to keep him around. So looks like they're going to miss him, and it's our gain. And but to your question, look, Jones is built for it. He's got all the tools to play outside corner, and he's got the swag to go with it. So I'd be good with that.
Tom, when you look at the weapons this team has, obviously, subtracting Evan Ingram and Christian Kirk is part of the process. The tight ends they signed are really pass-catching types. They're physical run blockers and pass protectors. And Dami Brown is very unproven. He's flashed a little bit. Does Trevor Lawrence have enough weapons to win enough games to be a true contender in the AFC South this year based on what's on this roster right now?
What kind of Gabe Davis are we getting?
Well, that's a good question.
With Brian Thomas Jr., yeah, you always got a chance with that guy. But, what kind of Gabe Davis are we going to get? Are we going to get the guy that, we thought we were going to get, coming from Buffalo and being that kind of, not a huge presence, but a very solid number 2 presence? What are we going to get out of that? I still think they'll address, the wide receiver room at some point. But look, I think Parker can handle, the slot. You're right about the tight ends, and you can see the difference. Like, what a difference between Evan Ingram and, Jeremy Munt and Hunter Long. Just look at them, physically. They're just different type of players. So, but I think you'll see them in the pass game. They'll get some throws, but not the majority, of course. But I'd add to it. But look, if you're telling me, how about this? If I got Brian Thomas Jr. and I got a Gabe Davis who I thought I was going to get last year, and then you throw in Parker, throwing the tight ends, I still want one more. I still want one more, but that's not bad. That's pretty solid. I forgot about Diami Brown, so throw him in there. Yeah, so I think that's pretty good. Again, if you give Trevor time, the job of those quarterbacks make everybody around them better, right? So you give him time, protect him, and I think he got enough weaponry with all that being said.
Tommy, when Gladstone was asked about whether or not they would be looking to add an edge or a defensive tackle at some point here in free agency after the 8 guys that they've brought in so far, he answered with we don't want to bring in guys that are going to block the young guys when we got 10 draft picks, is how he responded to that. I don't know if that's directly related to, defensive tackle, defensive end, or it rules them out from doing anything with that here in the next couple of weeks. But are you comfortable with this team, with where they're at with edge and defensive tackle, if they do not add another body to that group of guys before the draft begins here in 5 weeks?
Yeah, I'm more comfortable at DT because Jordan Jefferson, I'm interested to see how he comes along. Of course, Mason Smith. And then, look, you get Eric Armstead to play the 3 technique like he played in San Fran inside like that. I mean, man, that's going to be a beast of a defensive front. On edge, I just asked, well, we don't know who the draft picks are, but who do we have? I mean, Cole, Abdullah. I mean, look, I don't disrespect those guys, especially Asir, but you haven't done anything since you got here. I'm not counting on you to get to the quarterback. Nobody's shown that. So, is there somebody on the roster maybe I'm not thinking of? I don't know. So I would like to see them address edge. I get what he's saying on the defensive tackle front. So, Mason's young, Jordan's young. If you go D tackle, that'll be a rookie there too. And then you got the old guy and Eric. I don't know what you do with Hamilton under contract, but, I'd like to see some more edge for sure. And then, it depends who they draft, What if they draft some incredible edge? We're going to be like, all right, we got enough there. So, but you definitely need someone to get into that rotation. But, what is it crazy to think Devin Lloyd could get in that rotation?
Here we go. I don't know. Rush. It's the annual conversation, isn't it, with him?
It is. I think he can rush. I do. I think he rushes really well from a stand-up position over the guard and centers, but I'd like to try him outside as well. I think he's that long body, long arms, athletic enough to turn the body and sift through, sneak through the gap and make things happen. So I think he could do it.
2 things on that front. One, it sounded like yesterday James Gladstone basically said, hey, we are going to draft some edge help, some pass rush help, and what we don't want to do now is to sign a veteran who's not going to be here part of the long term, basically blocking that guy's progress, right? Like, we're going to get him an edge and get him on the field and get him to help us quickly, which makes me wonder, Tom, if maybe edge isn't more of a priority for them a little. You don't need a starter. You got 2 pretty solid starters, but we always say you can't have enough of that. But let me add the second part of this, your opinion on this particularly. Are we overlooking linebacker here with this team? We don't know how they feel about Ventrell Miller or Chad Muma, right? A lot of times you're only going to play 2. But Devin Lloyd, they got to make the decision on his 5th-year option. You talked about maybe experimenting with him in some different ways. Could they, like Jahad Campbell out of Alabama, we talked about in the last couple of days, could that guy be on the radar or someone comparable to that in the 2nd or 3rd round? Because we're not thinking of that because there's not an immediate hole, but they've got to project beyond just this year.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, for me, I'd be really comfortable because, look, 70% of the time they're a nickel and dime, right? So for me, Ventrell Miller wouldn't leave the field. He'd be my Mike backer. Him and Foye would be my nickel backers, and I would utilize Devin Lloyd, as more of a pass rusher on those nickel downs. I can see them added. Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, you need more speed, I guess. Devin's fine and Foyer's fine. Ventrell's really fast. I like the way he accelerates to the ball. I don't know personally. I don't think it's a high priority to go high. Like you need a starter, from day one, but you definitely need some backers. Now look, Caleb Johnson's a great special teamer. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think Muba's a pretty good special teamer. I'd be interested to see what they do with him, if they keep him around or what's his story. But, if he can help you on special teams, he'd do that. But I don't know, Demps. I don't think it's a huge priority at off the ball inside type linebackers.
Tommy, we've talked about a bunch of the moves in different ways here for the last couple minutes with you. Do you have a favorite of the free agents that they brought in this week?
A favorite? I'm probably gonna go Nick Mullins. No, I'm kidding.
I'm just thinking you were going to say that, too.
I'm only messing around. I think I like Macari. I like Hainsley Macari. Can I use two? I like that combination. I feel like they're going to be a different attitude, up front. I like that. I've been talking about attitude, it seems like, for 2 years. So I think those two together. I think the inquisitive one, wow, big word on a Friday from Tommy Red, is Dami Brown. If he can turn those flashes into real production, that could be nice. That could be, you got speed like that on the other side of Brian Thomas Jr., man, you're putting a lot of pressure on those safeties, and it'll open one of them up for sure. And we know what Brian Thomas Jr. can do down the field, so that would be interesting for Brown to really turn into something.
So, Tom, as the Prince of Ponte Vedra, where are you holding court this weekend? Are you making it out to the tournament? Are you going to be posting up at any of the local establishments? Like, what's life like for Tommy Mack with the players?
Well, first of all, I'm a Neptune Beach guy these days, Demps. We moved up here right around COVID, so no PV living down there anyway. I spent some time down there still. TPC Fridays are great. It was actually on my podcast. I was talking about the John Daly story and jumping in the pond and race the boat back to the Marriott after I had a few too many. And Cheever challenged me. And my future father-in-law was in the line. I had no idea because I hadn't met Christina yet. It's so funny. So many great memories at TPC Friday. But I am going, my wife and I are going to a great party. My lead guitarist is having a party at his house in Ponte Vedra on the Intercoastal, and that's where we rehearse, too, the Dad Bod. So it's going to be a great party, and I'm looking forward to taking an Uber down and letting loose a little bit there, Demps, on a TPC Friday.
All right, I'm trying to come up with an alternative to Prince that would be alliterative with Neptune Beach, but I got to work on that one, Tom.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to work on that one. The new mayor of Neptune Beach. The nerd of Neptune Beach. Could be me. All right, Tommy Mack, have a great weekend. Are you pulling for anybody in particular out at the players?
I'd like to see McElroy maybe pull one off. I would have handled it a little bit different, but I like what he did with the heckler. So I'm pulling for him. Yeah.
All right. Well, he just birdied 18, which is not easy to do. Scheffler hit it just inside 10 feet. McElroy hit it inside him. McElroy made his putt. Scheffler's got a 2-footer. He made that for par. So Rory red hot on his first 9 today. Tommy, have a great weekend, buddy. We'll see you back in studio next Friday.
All right, fellas. Thanks so much. Have a great weekend.
All right, there he goes, the pride of all of Greater Duval, Mr. Tom McManus. We'll take a break here. Again, leaderboard update coming your way. Back into the Jags in hour number 2. Mike Dempsey and Tony Smith live at the Players on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Andersen Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Here's a 1010XL Players Championship Leaderboard update.
I'm Molly McDonald with your Players Championship update, brought to you by Dermagnify Medical Surgical and Cosmetic Dermatology and TopDressing.com. Down in Ponte Vedra here at the 2025 Players Championship, we take a look at the leaderboard as Rory McIlroy now takes the number 1 spot, sitting at 10 under and currently 5 under through 9 this morning after hitting a birdie on hole 18. Right behind him in second, we have Minwoo Lee tied with JJ Spawn, both at 9 under. Trailing closely behind them, we have Akshay Bhatia sitting at 8 under. And right behind him, we now have Ricky Fowler, who moved up after hitting a birdie on 16. He sits at 6 under and 2 under through 7 this morning. Keeping an eye on Scotty Scheffler, who is currently looking to be the first ever to three-peat at the Players. Recently hit a birdie on 16, sitting at 5 under and 2 under through 8 this morning. Your next update from the Players in about 20 minutes.
Jags fans, here's your chance to score a trip to Green Bay for round 1 of draft night. Through the Everbank Draft Night Experience Sweepstakes, one lucky winner and a guest will be there live and in person to see the Jaguars make their first pick. To enter, visit everbank.com/draft by April 4th. That's everbank.com/draft. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the 50 United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry period from 3/3/25 to 4/4/25. For official rules, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/draft. Sponsored administrator, Everbank N.A.
At Hurricane Grill and Wings, every day feels like the weekend. Fresh, never frozen chicken wings, tossed in over 30 bold flavors, paired with ice-cold beer and handcrafted cocktails, all in a laid-back, beachy atmosphere. And with every game on the big screens, it's the ultimate escape. And you're home for sports, too. Great food, cold drinks, and all the games. That's Hurricane Grill and Wings. Escape the ordinary and find your spot at hurricanewings.com.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, buddy, you look worried.
Worried? I'm apoplectic!
You're what now?
I'm freaking out, Jason. Stupid water heater crapped out, so I haven't showered since Thursday. I start smelling a little funky, blow my big corporate job interview tomorrow. I'll end up settling for some dead-end career selling spatulas on the internet.
Dude, stay cool.
There's nothing cool about a cold shower, Jason. I mean, I know how that sounds, but...
Bueller Air and Plumbing can get a new water heater installed today. The day you call. You could be smelling fresh again by dinner time.
Wait, you can do that?
Put on these sunglasses. Whoa. Is that cooler?
Oh, yeah.
Well, life moves pretty fast. If you spend much more time smelling like this, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Baseball is back. Don't miss this year's Florida State baseball game, Tuesday, March 25th at VyStar Ballpark at 6 p.m. This can't-miss event sells out quickly, so buy your tickets today to get the best seats possible. It's Florida State on the diamond at VyStar Ballpark, Tuesday, March 25th. Get your tickets at TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com. TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com. We'll see you at the ballpark.
Do you know someone looking for a fun and rewarding summer job? Join the YMCA team, gain valuable experience, and make a difference in kids' lives. Turn your passion for this community into a fulfilling career at the First Coast YMCA. Now hiring camp counselors, lifeguards, childcare leaders, and membership experience team. Every single person on the dedicated YMCA staff plays a role in making the Y a welcoming and vital resource for our community. Find your career at the Y at fcymca.org.
Equal opportunity employer.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Your tax refund is here. Why not invest in your home? Superior Fence and Rail helps you build value with beautiful, durable fences that boost your home security, privacy, and curb appeal. With expert installation and financing options, turning your yard into an outdoor oasis is easier than ever. Reinvest in your home today with Superior Fence and Rail.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Hello, I'm attorney Malcolm Anthony, being charged with domestic violence to turn your life upside down. If you're in trouble, call me, Malcolm Anthony, at 285-4LAW. That's 285-4LAW.
Spring is in the air. Time to wake up your lawn with Heroes Lawn Care. Say goodbye to pesky mosquitoes with their organic and spray treatments. Perfect for outdoor fun. Keep your lawn clean and fresh with their pet waste removal for homes and businesses. Heroes Lawn Care takes care of it all, from mowing, edging, fertilizer, to irrigation, and much more. Visit heroeslawncare.com.
This is your Mad Dad's Update with Chapter President Donald Ford. In our effort to curb crime, drugs, and violence during the summer months, we are offering Friday Night Lights. It has already started and will be going until school starts back. It is every Friday night from 6:30 to 9:30 at the Blacktop, 5732 Normandy Boulevard, and behind the Potter's House Christian Academy. We manage 3 basketball courts. You are not running on the cement. We have covering on each court. The Lakers, the Magic, and the Heat. Ages 15 to 40 years old. This will give them something to do other than selling drugs and getting into trouble. We have monitors there giving leadership. We have to wake up, stand up, and speak up. Hit me on Facebook and tell me what you think. Or MattDadJacksonville.com.
Haymaker Coffee is a local coffee brand to help fuel your daily grind. Why Haymaker? It's fuel for the morning hustle, the late night, and every step of the way. Bold flavors for the bold city. Online at haymakercoffeeco.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Tom McManus. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service. On 1010XL.
Wonder if anybody on the PGA Tour, Tone, has ever birdied every even-numbered hole and parred every odd number. You know, like every other one, you know what I mean? That's what Rory did on the front 9 today. Started with a chip-in birdie on 10, playing the back 9 first. Birdie 12, 14, 16, and then just birdied 18. Dylan breathlessly on the break said, somebody just hold out from 150 yards on 18, but I can't remember who it is. Dylan, did you figure out who holed out from 150 yards on 18?
Yeah, it was Harris English.
Oh, good for Harris English.
So
nice.
I think he's in the same group with Scotty, if I'm not mistaken.
What's the longest you ever hold out from, Tony?
Probably like 120, something like that. Yeah.
Off the fairway?
Yeah.
Yeah. Other, hole-in-one's a different story, but from the not one of those, outside of those, probably 60 for me.
Yeah.
Not that far. Although I made one, maybe 80 once down at, what's that course off of Royal St. Augustine? It's a little tight little number there.
Yeah.
But eagled the last hole there, holding out. But anyway, these guys are amazing. To stick it. I saw Rory hit one yesterday over these trees.
Right.
Basically a blind shot, back right corner of the green.
I can remember
inside 10 feet.
The first time I ever broke 90, I didn't even realize it was really happening, was with a chip in from off the green. I was playing with my dad.
Oh.
Up in Nashville at a park up there, and I chipped in from about 40 yards off the green, and he came over to him and you just shot an 89, and it was the first time I had ever broken 90. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you don't want to know. I don't want I'll choke. I totally. You're one away from your personal best. Dang it! Why'd you have to say that? I'll tell you, my highlight this week for me, I was out at the range, and they've got a little post 50 yards out that a lot of people will chip at.
Yeah.
Hit it with my third shot. I always end up with like 5 shots trying to hit the post, and hit it with my third shot dead center. So I felt like the king of the range, baby.
Yeah.
Which is generally what I am. I'm a practice all-star, and that's then get me out there in competition, and I'm not going to put any money on myself. Why don't we do this? Let's take a moment and find out what's happening around the rest of the National Football League.
Now, gems around the NFL. Brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
Houston is trading a 2026 sixth-round pick to Minnesota for guard Ed Ingram. Tennessee has agreed to a one-year deal with quarterback Brandon Allen. Kansas City is signing Gardner Minshew on a one-year deal. New England signing Kayvon Chason, one-year, $5 million deal there. Buffalo is signing Laviska Shenault. So Jaguars moving all over the place. Dallas is signing Miles Sanders to a one-year deal. Las Vegas and running back Raheem Mostert, one-year, $2.1 million. The Los Angeles Chargers are signing defensive tackle Deshaun Hand to a one-year, $3.35 million deal. Minnesota is expected to release 2019 first-round pick Garrett Bradbury if they cannot find a trade partner for him. Bradbury has started all 88 of the games he's played in his 6 seasons there in Minnesota, including every game last year. He turns 30 in June and has 1 year with a base salary of $4.9 million remaining on his current deal with the Vikings. And New England is releasing center David Andrews after 10 seasons with the team. He is currently recovering from shoulder surgery.
And say he might retire,
Yeah.
I think.
It makes sense. Like, if you've been in a place for a decade, you're dealing with an injury, and now you announce that they're cutting you, like, that feels like a guy who's probably at the end of it.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, why don't we get back to a little James Gladstone here in our neck of the woods. And, question was, and it certainly seemed like they went out, they had a plan, obviously, right? When you act as quickly as they did on Monday, agreeing to terms with 9 guys, it's like every half hour you're hearing more Jaguar updates. It was a lot of fun. And so Gladstone was basically asked yesterday, did you land all the targets you were going after?
Yeah, it's been an absolute blast. I think the collaboration over the course of the last 3 weeks has been something we've held at a premium. And, looking at our pro scouting staff and our football administration staff, blending with a level of pride and being able to engage with all of those groups in such a short window of time, and actually walking into the pro free agency window, with some unknowns, right? There were some holes on our roster, and unlike the draft, right, an NFL pro free agent has the chance to say, you know what, I appreciate the offer, but I'm going somewhere else, right? In the draft, you send a name into a system, and they're now a part of your team. So that was a dynamic that walking into that door on Monday, you feel like, you know what, we're going to have to adjust today. Well, lo and behold, we had 9 names that we were prioritizing, and we ended up with 9 players that ended up on our roster as of today. So seeing that plan come to life, being executed in the way that it was, certainly something that at this point in time I'm proud of, but I can't wait for these players to engage with the rest of the team, get out on the grass in the fall, because it's not the off season that we're looking to win from a perception standpoint. We're looking to win football games this fall, and can't wait for the next phase of this in the draft to truly see what the shape of the roster is going to look like, and then get everybody out on the grass together here later in the spring.
But, James, we're only used to winning the offseason. Mm-hmm. Do you not understand that? What are we going to do in April and May and June if we don't feel like we've won the offseason? I get exactly. I kid, obviously. He didn't technically say – he said we had 9 names we were going after. We ended up signing 9 guys, right? So he didn't technically say we signed every single guy we went after. I know the guys this morning were talking about there might have been some interest in Drew Dahlman, they heard, from the Jaguars' perspective. And James Gladstone kind of said, hey, look, that's free agency, right? You can't control, you can't make that guy come here. We can make you come here as a draft pick, or you're not going to play, at least for the next year, if you choose to sit out. I mean, and nobody does that. So it does seem like they rapidly went after some very specific targets. I mean, I don't believe for a second, obviously, they're targeting Munt and Hunter Long at tight end, right? Nobody is prioritizing, which is kind of a smart thing, right? A lot of people prioritize the bigger names, the splashier names. When you see a piece that fits in the overall structure of what you want to do, he's not going to be maybe one of your top 30 guys on your 53-man roster, but he's vital to the depth. If you have a battle plan and you get in there, you can get those guys to agree quickly. And not that there's going to be a bidding war for Hunter Long, but you know what I mean? Kind of just check those things off the list. You have a priority.
You're checking the boxes on all these things. I was thinking about it with free agency opening this week and the way that they worked early on, and seeing Gladstone speak again yesterday. I think one of the things that I do most appreciate about Gladstone to this point, and I know he's eventually going to be in a job like this for a long enough period of time where there will be something rocky happening. At some point in his career as a general manager, it's just impossible to avoid. But so far, it has been all honeymoon stuff. He seems to be having so much fun, being on the job for the first time. And I do think that kind of thing can be contagious to some degree. When the guy I never felt like Balky was ever happy about anything that happened anywhere ever, right? And I think he was at a point in his career where he couldn't afford to be. It was every decision he made was, is my career going to continue? From this point on.
Sure.
Gladstone's still at the beginning of this, where it does feel like a guy who's getting this first opportunity. I don't know if he's going to be good or bad at it. long run? I do not know what the answers to any of that is, but it's nice to see someone who is so happy. You know, like every time we see him, he's just he's having a ball.
Why shouldn't he be? I mean,
right.
He's got young guys get a chance to come in. They probably got some decent job security with all the, the stadium tumult over the next few years, right? Like, this is it. Sean Collins probably had enough of.
I had an idea for what
turnover.
I wanted to do, and I'm able to do it. Like it's fun to watch him do it.
Well, if you heard Jordan Lewis, he said, Liam Cohen's energy is unmatched, right? And you think there's plenty of guys like that, and maybe he's saying that, and there's probably other guys who are just as energetic out there, but it does put a fresh, young face on this organization. Like, hey, no matter what happened in the past, starting from scratch here, this is the new vision. We want you to be a part of it.
They're not carrying that weight, right? When they're doing the things they're doing, they're not still burdened by any of the stuff that's been going on that, the fans feel to some degree, but I think even the fans can appreciate seeing guys kind of loose with it,
Absolutely.
It makes a lot of sense. One more here from Gladstone before we get out for this segment at least. And, look, we've talked about Hainsey a little bit at the center position for the team that they brought in from Tampa. Makes sense. He knows the offense, that Cohen wants to run all these different things. Gladstone was asked about getting a center yesterday and talked about it being a massive priority for the team.
It was a massive priority, right? That's some weight off the shoulders of Trevor at the line of scrimmage that now, because of the familiarity from Robert, he doesn't have to bear as a quarterback. And, at the same time, Robert got one op to start this past season versus the New Orleans Saints. And I'd encourage anybody and everybody to watch that game and understand why it was a player of interest. Think about the intangible elements in the back of your mind as it relates to a performance on the field, and you'll see that clear as day in that game. Robert was not going to allow that opportunity. He didn't know how many he was going to get last season to make it so that by the time that pro free agency kicked off, that bell rang on Monday, that he was going to be given an op because somebody saw exactly what we did in him. And that's a player that does not quit. The whistle blows and he's playing through it. And that's something that we really, really value.
That's part of the intangibly rich. But to be fair, right, he's also a guy who they drafted a guy to replace him last year. And Graham Barton wasn't able to play that game, and that's why Hainsey was able to go. But otherwise, the Bucs deemed him replaceable and upgradable, right? So while he may be an upgrade over what we had at the beginning of the week, I don't know if he's an upgrade over Mitch Morse, who decided to retire last week. And I hope, that it goes beyond just being super familiar with the offense, right? And the play to the whistle kind of aspect of his attitude and all that. Are you good enough to execute that? It's one thing to have the want to. You got to have the ability. And, look, again, they're the ones. They are going to get judged on wins and losses. They know that. This is the direction they decided to go. I hope for the best, like I always do. More from James Gladstone coming up. Jack O'Brien taking over on our Players Championship update. So we'll get you to the leaderboard coming up here in just a moment. Stick around. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Jaguars Today, live at the Players on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Food, Sandwiches, Subs. You know the drill with Dandy. Swing into an area gate station and give yourself a little bit of time because they have so many different options for you. The gate station I go to on Southside, over 30 different Dandy varieties every single time I walk in there. And when I say varieties, I don't just mean 30 different kind of sandwiches. They've got a little something for everybody, whether it's breakfast items, full line of breakfast items. Dandy's got excellent French toast, for instance, right? Just one of the things. Maybe you just want a little protein pack pick-me-up as you're driving around town and your energy is ebbing as the day goes on. Dandy's got your back. Whether it's a little snack, whether it's a full-blown meal, classic line of sandwiches and subs, the recipes of which they've perfected for nearly 7 decades here. It's a First Coast company. I'm always going to go for that tuna salad because I absolutely love that recipe. But you go find yours. You can find a different one every day of the month. When you're hungry in Duval, do what I do. Go out and make yours a Dandy. Do it today.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at 1010XL. Here's a 1010XL Players Championship Leaderboard update.
A very good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Players Championship. This is Jack O'Brien. Thanks for tuning in this morning. This Players Update is brought to you by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling and by Universal Roof and Contracting. Another beautiful scoring day here on round 2 at the Players. Not totally unexpected. Rory McIlroy turned his first 9 and 5 under, 31. He's taken the lead at 10 under par, birdieing every other hole on the stadium backside. And also Min Woo Lee just birdied number 2 on the front. That's his 11th hole. He's also at 10 under par. J.J. Spahn also hanging in there as he is at 9 under par this morning after 10 holes. There, let's see. Let's take another look. Ricky Fowler, the 2015 champion, at -7. Akshay Bhatia is at 9 under par. He's just a shot back. Harris English, 5 under this morning, has gone from even to 5 under, eagling the 18th hole from 180 yards out. Charlie Hoffman, 6 under today. He's now 2 under for the tournament. And Tommy Fleetwood making a move as well. He's 4 under today, now at 5 under par. Scotty Scheffler, 2 under today. So far, 5 back at 5 under. Be listening for Players Updates throughout the Players Tournament here on 1010XL. High-flying Jack O'Brien will return in mere moments, live from the Players at Sawgrass. May the sports be with you.
Want to bet on sports but no clue where to start? Millions of players are already making moves on Hard Rock Bet. Your friends might be winning. Why not you? Bet with confidence. Bets by real players help guide your picks. Go with the crowd and cash in on the wins. Any pick that catches your eye. Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us. Win your first bet or get up to $100 back in bonus bets. Payable and bonus bet up to $100. Not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 and up and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Call 904-500-COOL. Ideal Conditions.
Want to support a locally and veteran-owned company? If you need a new AC, we should be your first and only call. Ideal Conditions keeps you cool. Just gas your AC. Call 904-500-COOL or visit idealconditionsjacks.com.
Call 904-500-COOL.
Honk if you see us. Call for service.
Ideal Conditions.
Idealconditionsjacks.com.
Did you know your pup could take 30,000 to 60,000 steps a day at Dogtopia of Jacksonville Beach Boulevard? That's a whole lot of tail wagging fun with their best furry friends. At Dogtopia, they turn playtime into exercise, learning, and socialization in their off-leash, open play environment. Dogs build confidence, reduce anxiety, and stay happy and healthy, all while having the time of their lives. Visit Dogtopia of Jacksonville Beach Boulevard today.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Don't miss the Players Championship, March 11th through 16th at TPC Sawgrass. This can't-miss event features a variety of activities for every fan to enjoy, from delicious bites to the Sawgrass Splash. There are endless fan enhancements that will make for a memorable experience. Plus, watch the top PGA Tour players, including back-to-back champion Scotty Scheffler, take on the iconic stadium course featuring the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
Tired of drafty, noisy vinyl windows? It's time to say goodbye to vinyl. And hello to lasting comfort with Renewal by Andersen Windows and Doors. Our exclusive Fiberx windows are 2 times stronger than vinyl, more energy efficient, and custom built to fit your home perfectly. No more warping, no more cracking, just beautiful, durable windows that stand the test of time. Right now, get special financing or save big with limited time discounts. Call Renewal by Andersen today and say bye-bye vinyl. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com. Don't wait. Upgrade today. License number CGC 1527613.
The 2025 NFL season is right around the corner, and the Jags are building something special. A fresh team, a new culture, and a stadium that's going to change the game. Be there to witness head coach Liam Cohen and the rest of the coaching crew in action by securing your season tickets today. Become a member to get access to exclusive experiences, VIP events, and more. Visit Jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We can't wait to see you at the bank this fall.
Looking for adventure? Need a machine that works as hard as you do? CF Moto has you covered. At Ride Now Beach Boulevard, we've got CF Moto ATVs and UTVs built for any task, any trail, anytime. Tear up the dirt with the trail-tested C-Force ATV lineup or conquer through terrain with a Z-Force UTV. Find your CF Moto ride today at Ride Now Beach Boulevard or visit ridenowbeachboulevard.com. ATVs and UTVs are for riders 16 and older. They can be hazardous to operate. CF Moto recommends an approved safety training course.
Real estate isn't just a job, it's a commitment. With Paige Covington, you get a dedicated partner who's available day or night because buying or selling a home doesn't follow a schedule. Your needs come first. Whether it's finding the perfect home or selling for top dollar, Paige Covington goes the extra mile every time. Meet Paige Covington with England Volkers at String Sports Brewery on Pittman Road in Jacks Beach, Friday, March 21st from 4 to 6 for Madness with the Frangie Show. PaigeCovington.evrealestate.com.
The Jacksonville Icemen are back at home this Friday and Saturday evening at VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Join us Friday as the Icemen take on the Orlando Solar Bears for Wizards Night, presented by Florida Department of Health. Come out and wear your house colors. Then on Saturday, the Icemen close out their home set against the Savannah Ghost Pirates. Game time at 7. Tickets available on Ticketmaster or by calling 904-602-BUCK. Iceman Hockey is #Frozen Frenzy.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Hey, yeah, I want to shoot, baby, shoot.
Tom McManus.
Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service. On 1010XL.
Yeah, we got 10 picks in this year's draft. We're going to have some spots that are actually open for them to insert. So, if you add a veteran at this point, could be just standing in the way. We're going to allow these rookies to, get a chance to get out on the field and help us this coming fall.
That's James Gladstone yesterday. In other words, man, I don't need some dust-collecting vet here who's going to eat up $5 million of my salary cap. We're going to get him young, and we're going to get him on the field as quickly as possible. And, they need help still in a number of areas. I do think, now the immediate need on the offensive line has been filled. That's the immediate need. It doesn't mean you still won't be drafting offensive linemen in this draft, and they alluded to that yesterday. It's still a possibility. Taking a look at today's Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day, which is what best describes how you feel about the collective roster decisions the Jags have made in the past week. Trades, releases, signings, I guess retirement as well for Mitch Morse. Why don't we hit up today's 10-10 take, Dylan?
10-10 take.
Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 take is serviced by Ideal Conditions Heating and Air, your go-to local HVAC company, veteran owned and operated.
All right, here are your choices today. From the most robustly enthusiastic, Tony, optimistic, to the most pessimistic. And that doesn't mean bad necessarily. It could be realistic, right? You're just not sure that they've made all the right moves. A, I'm a true believer. B, the floor is raised. C, still too many holes. And D, lost more than we gained. First, let's start with that. In certain areas, I think they did lose more than they gained. Sure. In terms of weapons for Trevor Lawrence, they lost more than they gained because those tight ends are not going to move the needle in terms of being receiving players, pass-catching tight ends.
No.
That's never been their M.O. Dami Brown, time will tell. But, I get anyone who looks at that and goes, well, is it this year's Gabe Davis, a guy who there are reasons to be excited about? By the way, Gabe Davis, much more accomplished when he signed with the Jaguars last year than Dami Brown has been in his time with the Commanders.
Mm-hmm.
So I get in one area, but at the same time, Monday morning, you had two holes in your starting lineup on your offensive line, right? While we thought they'd sign a corner for sure, didn't expect it to be a nickel, but I think that puts Jarian firmly in play to potentially start there. So I would say that I don't know if they've lost more than they've gained. In certain areas, they have, but overall, I don't think it's a net loss for the team. So I take that off the table. I'm a true believer, man. I mean, look, God bless you. If you this is why they win the offseason, because we got enough true believers out there that oftentimes it's just splashing around money and what have you that gets people excited. But I'm not looking at this class and going, oh, yeah, absolutely, this is championship city. Maybe it's the first good step in that direction. I'm open to that possibility. Mm-hmm. So it leaves the middle there. The floor is raised. Yeah, I do think they raised it to some degree. Now, when you talk about these offensive linemen, I hope Makari is really good. We're going to hear some thoughts on him from James Gladstone coming up in a moment. But when you're raising it from we don't have a starter, it's not hard to raise the floor.
No.
And so I think it's a combination of the floor is raised and still too many holes. You're not going to fix every hole in free agency. Didn't expect him to. So I lean more towards the floors raised, and it's like cautiously optimistic that that's enough for right now.
I think we spent so much time in the lead up to free agency opening up saying probably going to add, is it going to be 2 or 3? 2.5 is the over-under on starters that they will be adding to this team, and they might have added 5. They almost certainly added 4, right? Like players that are going to be starting for them in free agency. Are any of them big front line, like that kind of thing? Did we get too caught up in that's what you have to be adding for it to be, quote, starters in your head, right? Like that kind of thing. But from the perspective of a team that needed to find starters at a bunch of these different positions, they did it, right? Specifically along the offensive line. And we'll see how long-term any of that is, right?
Well, let's be fair, too. When we were doing the how many starters will it be, we didn't presume they needed to find a starting center.
No, I get
right.
it.
So that one just even if you take Hainsey off the board, they still probably added 3. And if you look at Dami Brown, 3 being Murray and Jordan Lewis and Macari, right? Those are the 3 that are definitely starting opening, and so will Hainsey.
And Hainsey will be in there too. But say we had made the number 3.5, it's still they hit the mark.
Like if Mitch Morse doesn't retire, are they signing Hainsey?
Probably not.
Probably not.
But it's one of those where even if we didn't know the center was open for most of the time we were talking about that, so bump it up to 3.5.
Sure.
Right? That they could be. Well, they might have added 5.
Yeah.
I look at it from that perspective, and again, I don't think it's a bunch of in the area of names that everyone knows, right, across the National Football League. But I don't necessarily expect that when a bunch of the needs we're talking about are on the offensive line anyway. It's not like I'm paying all that much attention to what free agent offensive linemen are going to be out there compared to every other free agent offensive lineman at these positions. From that perspective, I really like Macari. I'm very curious to see the flexibility that guy has for them. And, Gladstone talking about it's like if we essentially, he didn't say it this way, but what he implied was if we need to move him to 3 different spots, we can do it, right? Depending on what happens. We know offensive linemen don't stay healthy all year. Love the flexibility of that guy. Hainsey is a guy who at least knows the offense that he's coming in and maybe makes the transition easier for the key pieces that are going to be involved up front and with the quarterback. I think that makes all the sense in the world when you're installing a new offense to add somebody like that. Is he a premier center? No. But I don't think you have to have a premier center to be fine with what you're going to be doing on offense in all these different directions. So I would say it's hard. I'm not going to ignore the holes that they still have on the roster, but they added 8 guys. They probably filled at least 4 starting positions of the 8 that they're bringing in. So I think it's hard to not acknowledge that the floor on the roster has been raised by the football team. And, you leave the space for me. I'm much more leaning towards floor is raised than I am still too many holes. But I acknowledge the holes that are still there.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Look, and again, floors raised doesn't mean like, Jags won it, or they get an A. Yeah, okay. It was easy in some areas. Just the mere fact that they brought in a body raised the floor at some positions.
When they state a mission and accomplish it, right, which is what this feels like to me, at least when they talked about free agency 3 weeks ago, and we got to raise the floor on the roster, we got to do all I think when they state that kind of mission and they accomplish it day one of free agency, I'm good with it. I don't know if they made the right moves with any of this, and only time will tell on that kind of thing, but I am encouraged that they would state a plan and carry it out as quickly as they did.
All that being said, the floor has been in the sub-basement for too long. So,
there's no doubt.
Raising the floor ultimately is a step in the process. It's not the goal. Although it's not the end goal of the process. And quite frankly, I'm getting tired of the phrase. All right, let's get beyond raising the floor. We get it, right? That's like a first-year rebuild kind of thing. And I get it. The Jags needed some rebuild on the infrastructure of their football team. But again, don't tell us this team's a lot closer to competing. We think we're going to compete and not deliver on that because we're going to hold. That's the standard we got to hold you to. And again, not saying that they can't get there, right? Long way to go. They'll still probably sign some other veterans. Whether it's this week or next week or beyond, June 1st or whatever the case may be. Maybe they'll make a trade or two, and they certainly have 10 draft picks to play with as well. And then there's internal improvement from some of your players. By the way, hey, Brian Jr., take your game to a new stratosphere. Nothing wrong with that, right? Go from being a 1,200-yard receiver to an 1,800-yard receiver. And a lot of the improvement can come internally from the guys you already have on your roster. 55% going with the floors raised. 23% say there are too many holes still. 13% true believers. In other words, fantastic job. And we lost more than we gained, pulling about 9% of the vote right now. It's still time to cast yours, your Chad and Sandy Real Estate question of the day. When we come back, just a couple of final thoughts from James Gladstone, again on the offensive line, so we'll get to that. Coming your way, another leaderboard update here at the Players in moments. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith here with you. Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Here's a 1010XL Players Championship Leaderboard update.
And a very good morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. This Players Update is brought to you by Performance Painting and by San Jose Collision. Well, there's 24 players in the field this year making their tournament debut, highlighted by 5 PGA Tour winners so far. There are 4 eligible players who are not playing this year. That includes Ernie Els, Alex Noren, Brendan Todd, and Tiger Woods. At the moment, the cut is sitting around even par as Min Woo Lee has jumped into the lead at 11 under. He's 6 under for the day, 3 under in his last 4 holes. J.J. Spahn, Rory McIlroy, just a shot back at 10 under, all now in the midst of their rounds here at the Players during the second round of the Players Championship. Akshay Bhatia, 4 under for the day. He's now at 9 under, just a couple of shots back. Billy Horschel, 1 under today. He's at -6. Scotty Scheffler, 3 under for the day. He's also at -6, along with Colin Morikawa, 4 under today at -6, and Ricky Fowler, also at 6 under par. He's 2 under for the day, and quickly, Harris English has moved up the leaderboard at 5 under after a magnificent eagle on 18 from 180 yards out. Be listening all throughout the Players Tournament here in the Players Palm Valley Village, where 1010XL is hanging out with Mike Dempsey and Tony White. I'm High-Flying Jack O'Brien. We'll be back in mere minutes with another report. May the sports be with you.
Jags fans, here's your chance to score a trip to Green Bay for round 1 of draft night. Through the Everbank Draft Night Experience Sweepstakes, one lucky winner and a guest will be there live and in person to see the Jaguars make their first pick. To enter, visit everbank.com/draft by April 4th. That's everbank.com/draft. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the 50 United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry period from 3/3/25 to 4/4/25. For official rules, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/draft. Sponsored administrator, Everbank N.A.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is giving away free beer again this year for the Madness Tournament. You can enter the bracket challenge at 1010XL.com right now. Monday morning, you can make your picks. Then when the tourney starts Thursday, print your bracket out and bring it into any Mr. Chubby's Wings location during the games. Every game you pick right, you get a free Miller Lite, and bracket challenge winner gets 2 tickets to Welcome to Rockville on Saturday. See Mr. Chubby's Wings Facebook for full contest details.
Jacksonville's summer heat is coming in fast. Is your AC ready to handle it? Or will it quit on you on the hottest day of the year, leaving you sweating and stuck with a huge repair bill? Duck Air Conditioning is here to save the day with a free AC system inspection. Our expert techs will make recommendations to ensure your AC system is running in tip-top shape before the heat arrives. Call now, 904-862-6769. Duck Air Conditioning, duckduckac.com. Any required repairs are not included in the inspection.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Hi, it's Rick Ballou. I hope you'll join me and some former NFL players for an incredible event at the end of March, the Lone Warrior Foundation 2025 Champions of Hope Charity Golf and Tennis Challenge. March 31st at Marsh Landing will support single-parent families in their fight against cancer. An opportunity to win sensational prizes, but more importantly, we will bring meaningful hope and support to the lives of families affected. To sign up, go to LoneWarriorFoundation.com. That's LoneWarriorFoundation.com.
New and pre
Pre-owned firearms are always in stock at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Want a new sidearm or rifle? Brands like Kimbar, Smith & Wesson, Sig Sauer, and Beretta. No lines, no hassle. Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
Welcome to AT&T. How can I help?
Hey, I thought I could trust my twins with my phone, but they outnumber me, man.
Whoa, that's a lot of glitter paint. Let's trade
lives.
At AT&T, everyone can trade in an old or glittered iPhone any year, any condition, and save on a new iPhone. Ask how to get iPhone 16 Pro on us. New and existing customers. Savings vary by device and trade-in combinations. Restrictions apply. See att.com for details. AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
When you need a mechanic you can trust, call Sam, Harry, or Joe at AA Automotive on Richard Street. From oil changes to complex engine repairs, AA Automotive promises expert service and honest pricing from a local family biz. AA Automotive on Richard Street.
The Mr. Chubby's Bracket Challenge is coming. Following Selection Sunday, go to 1010XL.com, print your bracket, and bring it to any Mr. Chubby's Wings during Live Madness games. Get a free Miller Lite for every game you pick right. Top prize, Saturday passes to Welcome to Rockville.
Prosser here. No matter what you do, man, you love consistency. And when it comes to selling your home for Chad and Sandy, good times are bad. They're there to help you, and you're going to get the most that you can. The economy actually showing positive signs. Now may be the time to sell your home at the price you want, and it's easy to find out. Get friendly expert help from the Jacksonville agents who are there for you. My agents, Chad and Sandy Newman. Maybe you need more space with a growing family or working from home. Whatever your reasons, Chad and Sandy come through for you as the local real estate experts I trust and recommend. Chad and Sandy, in fact, will guarantee you this. Your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. John and Ursula in Green Meadows said, I was not in great health, so we decided to downside to an easier place to manage. First, we needed to sell our Green Meadows home fast. Unfortunately, after 185 days, our home failed to sell. With another realtor, we made the switch, though, to Chad and Sandy. Sold it in 12 days. You can, too. Go to chadandsandy.com or call 414-6200.
Oh, by the way, Ivan's no longer on the project. His wife got a new job, so they're moving across the country.
Robin's top researcher is deviating to a new market. This isn't standard.
And now we're short-staffed. Who's going to finish all these projects?
She needs a cluster of new data analysts, and there's no margin for error.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while. Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text ORDER to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text ORDER to 42424. That's ORDER to 42424.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since 87.
All right, our time out here broadcasting at the Players coming to an end in about 10, 12 minutes or so. Helmets and Heels will follow, and on we go into the weekend, of course, on 1010XL. We'll have leaderboard updates for you about basically every 20 minutes while golf is being played out here. If it happens on the course, you'll hear it here first. Rory McIlroy now with 6 birdies, and it continues the birdie par streak. Birdie par, birdie par, birdie par, birdie par, birdie par, birdie. So, I'll understand if he pars the par 3 third, as he's playing he played the back 9 first, and currently tied at 11 under, 6 under on his round with Min Woo Lee. There he goes. Scotty Scheffler picked up a birdie on number 2 after making the turn with Rory. He's at 6 under overall, so 5 back in that same group. Who knows? Maybe those guys will get paired up over the weekend as well. All right, Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith here with you. Some final thoughts on the week that was in Jaguar free agency. Tony, just a couple of last thoughts here from James Gladstone, Jaguars general manager, speaking to the assembled media yesterday. And Patrick McCarry's a guy that we talked about and his versatility and what he means for this football team. Here's what Gladstone had to say about him.
That was insanely rare. I don't know that that's something that typically comes up on the market at a cost point that's affordable enough to pursue. Really, we were very disciplined in our approach and how we spent this offseason. And Patrick is somebody that, he wasn't offered the opportunity or the backdrop of being a draft pick coming out. He's earned everything he's gotten, and he earned this opportunity. And his versatility, obviously, there's always attrition on the offensive line throughout the course of a season, and obviously he'll allow us a lot of flexibility on the offensive side of the ball to feel like we're never in a bind because we can move him around if necessary. But at the same time, he's going to be slotted in as a starter on the interior of our OL at this point.
And when he spoke about rare, meaning rare to find a guy who can play all 5 positions. Yep. That's available like this, and combined with how much it costs. I feel like, Tone, just because they signed him, I mean, it's a similar length deal to what Walker Little has going forward now, right? But I just feel like McCarry is their guy. Like, they really like this guy. Like, he will be an opening day guard for this football team. And granted, he may move around and do some different things to fill in if necessary, but I almost feel like he's got more job security than Walker Little does, just simply because...
Probably.
Right? Like, almost like if you're going to draft, like, I could see them going for a center if the right one presents himself, because while Hainsey is going to get you up to speed, again, he's a guy who was replaced. They drafted to replace him in Tampa last year, and I get it. He knows the offense, and he can play, and he's got a great attitude, intangibly rich, and all this other stuff, but I don't know, with McCarry and Ezra Cleveland both on pretty reasonable, affordable guard contracts, if they feel decent about them, I don't know how likely they are to take, Landon Jackson or any of these other interior offense, Tate Ratledge kind of guy in the first 3 rounds. I could see center, but I almost wonder if, because of the value of the position, if tackle isn't now all of a sudden kind of where the priority shifts to if you're going to look to add offensive line talent to this team in the draft.
We'll see. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the direction they go with it, and they've put themselves in that kind of position with what they did this week, right? Like, they can do that kind of thing because they do have a center that they feel comfortable with and somebody else that is the Swiss Army knife. He can play all 5, and so he's probably going to be starting at guard for this football team for 2025, and that would make sense because they obviously have the hole at right guard right now. But, yeah, for a team that had nothing as far as any kind of depth at those positions 5 days ago, well, they kind of do now. So they don't go into the draft saying, we got to add a guard.
I did feel, though, like, and I get it, when you've got a gaping hole at guard, you knew they would address it. And I thought they would probably, the most likely would be cornerback and probably a guard, because it was clear you had these needs, safety being among them as well. But I always felt like the distinct possibility that maybe even 2 of the first 4 picks, before the end of the 3rd round, they might draft 2 offensive linemen. Now, it wouldn't shock me if they didn't draft one until the 5th round.
Could be.
They do have other priorities. And again, it doesn't mean that a Tate Ratledge might not be the best player available at pick 70 if he's there, and you say, hey, you know what, we're going to bring him in, we're going to create competition. But I just feel like I think our mock drafts are going to take big shifts potentially moving forward, even though they didn't so much this week. I think I'm probably going to back off adding offensive line early and see how that fits with the available talent that's out there and what they're capable of doing. Deep at defensive tackle, absolutely. I do think it's deep at interior offensive line, so maybe they will wait a little longer. Got to prioritize getting a young edge rusher, as they talked about yesterday as well. So still a bunch of work to do.
No doubt, and we'll continue to get into that here over the course of the next month and a half before the draft gets here. I think it was 6 weeks from yesterday is the first round of the NFL
Sounds
draft.
about right, which is, like, I was looking at, like, how long has Liam Cohen been in the job? January 24th. That's like, 6-7 weeks, right? Like, right. It's beyond half the time has passed from the time they signed him to be the head coach from where the NFL draft seemed like it was just so far in the future. It'll be honest sooner than you know.
No doubt. One more here from Gladstone before we wrap it up today on the program. Along the lines of talking about the depth that they've added along the offensive line and what that does, they've talked about setting the table as the way that they've discussed it with Trevor Lawrence. And Gladstone was asked yesterday, does he feel good about what they've done for Trevor Lawrence in front of him over the course of the last week?
I do think that we answered some questions there with our decisions here in pro free agency, addressing both center and guard, as well as the tackle position. And clearly, by signing 3 of those players, and that being the most at any one position over the course of the free agent window, we're setting the standard for what we're actually looking to do, and that doesn't count offensive line out of the equation in the draft either. But at the same time, that's another position that does have attrition and throughout the course of a season, so we'll never feel like we've got enough.
All right, finally, Tony here, and yes, you never have enough quality anywhere, really, right? But offensive line, attrition, all that, right? And you got to start 5 of them. Few here on the X platform coming in the final few minutes. Doug says the other option for the poll could have been, I'm confused. I don't understand what utilizing evaluations to add to the ecosystem and level up the floor really means. They do throw a lot of buzzwords at you. I think he's probably being a little bit facetious there. Robert says floor has been raised from 1/2 inch off the ground to 3/4 of an inch. So, okay.
But raised.
Hey, so you're saying it's gotten better. All right, we appreciate that. And this one here, agreeing with Doug, I'm with you. Seems like we lost some quality starters, replaced them with average ones, better backups, maybe. Well, you definitely improved your offensive line. I mean, there are some areas you improved your secondary, right? Now, whether Eric Murray turns out to, and I keep saying his name right today, I'm so proud of myself, but whether he turns out to be a really good player or just a guy who's smart and tends to be in the right position, and we'll find out, right? Yeah. But there were some big holes. Yes, he took a step back at tight end in terms of receiving impact. No question about it. And who's to say what you've done at receiver? Now, by the way, you haven't stepped that far back from the level of contribution you got last year out of Evan Ingram and Christian Kirk because they weren't available to you for a good chunk of the year. So, again, don't wish ill will on those guys. They were good Jags in their time here. Time for these new folks to make their mark as well, just like plenty are on the players' leaderboard today. Rory McIlroy continues to tear this place up, but Min Woo Lee is the man of the match. 7 under through 14 and 12 under par overall, in the lead by a stroke. And you'll have leaderboard updates all day long. Right now, it's time for us to give it off to Helmets and Heels.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
Yeah. Huh?
Can you dance with that?
Can I dance? Period. I can chair dance with the best
you
of
just
them. So
do a little shoulder shake.
Shimmy.
Yeah,
a
little shimmy.
The coolest cats in town.
That deserves a little, jazz hands.
Yeah, right. All right, so Colin Morikawa, by the way, also very popular, is in 5th place right now, 7 under par. Very popular selection, I should say, this week. And,
gosh, what a good week to be a golfer out here.
Scheffler just bogeyed 3, so he moved a stroke back. Rory, this is pretty incredible. I don't know if you've really looked at the scorecard.
I have.
It's birdie, par, birdie, par, birdie, par, birdie, par, birdie, par, birdie, par.
Unlike our scorecard.
So now he needs to birdie number 4 here, which he's playing right now to continue that streak. A lot of fun.
To be bogey free.
Hi, Lauren Brooks.
Hi,
How are
Dempsey.
you?
I'm fantastic.
You see Lauren's panic move. Tony diving across the table. She's like, Mike's not going to turn my microphone on.
Well, you know my background doing lots of things at 1010XL, and one of those things is usually engineering shows that we're on. I had it. I looked at it before I sat down, and then I watched whether or not you were going to turn the microphone on, and I said, I got this covered.
What does that say? Okay, I'm not going to read it because I can read it now. That's an advertisement. Yeah, somebody dragging a banner up there. You're not going to get a shout out.
What it says actually is Jaguars Today is number 1.
You know what? I walked in today and the security guy over by the media center, right? They bring a lot of people in from out of town for these events, like all the shuttle drivers practically.
They're the one that I was on for the media is from Atlanta.
Well, the security guard who was there was from Oklahoma. And I'm like,
where the wind goes sleeping on the plains.
Yes, Mariah. Anyway, he asked me, like, what is the Jaguars rallying cry? And I was happy to give him a Duval. And he was like, really? And I'm like, yeah. And I explained to him what the city and the county are basically the same thing and all that. So we had a nice little talk about it. He goes, now when I see a Jaguar fan, I'll know how to greet them.
I'm shocked that you didn't say Duval.
Duval, raise the floor. Everyone, intangibly rich.
There it is. Good job, Dylan.
What do you got coming up on Helmets and Heels today, LB?
Yeah, we're just going to talk all things players. We're going to talk to Gary Smits at 12:40. We're going to talk to Clay Hensley from the Major League Baseball world, talk a little baseball. I want to get his take on this whole Rays thing. Now they may be moving to Orlando, at least according to Mike Bianchi, that's a possibility. But yeah, I want to talk some baseball now that pitchers and catchers have obviously reported now for a few weeks, and real baseball is set to start soon.
Smith had an interesting anecdote he told me this morning. I didn't share it because I don't have his permission. I'm going to get in the car here shortly. What time is he going to join
12:40.
you? 12. Oh, okay. I should be in the car by 12:40. I will listen to see if he brings it up unprompted also
we'll also
a fun
talk
conversation.
about. Oh yeah, absolutely. And we'll also talk about General Manager James Gladstone meeting with the media yesterday and break down some of the things. I don't know if y'all have had the chance yet to watch the Jaguars collaboration video that they put out about free agency, but that's just another idea or another example of how they're going to be so transparent this year.
Fantastic, Dad.
We love it, right?
All right. LB, have a great show.
Thank
have
you
a
so
wonderful
much.
weekend.
Y'all do the same. I mean, we couldn't get better weather out here.
I got my week. Yesterday I had to rush home. Freaking St. John's is the number 1 seed in the Big East, and they're playing at noon on Thursday on Peacock. Like, I had to get home because it takes, like, Peacock, 2 minutes to crank up on my TV. So they tip off at 6:30 today against Marquette.
Should I know that you're a fan of them?
I don't know. Why would I have brought it up in all the year? I go back to the pre-Chris Mullen days. Watching St. John's, the glory days in the 80s with Walter Berry and Mark Jackson and Willie Glass and Bill Wennington. And I loved that squad back then. And anyway, you should not because they've sucked. So I don't I don't go around and say, hey, you see what the Red Storm did? They won 4 games this year, but Patino's got them playing well. They've lost 4 games by a total of 7 points the whole year.
Wow.
Could be undefeated.
That's really good.
I mean, that's really good.
Yeah.
And they will go nowhere in the NCAA tournament because they can't shoot 3. They cannot shoot 3.
Well, yeah, speaking of that, my alma mater plays tonight against Missouri, one of the 4 teams that beat Florida this season. So got that coming up as well.
There you go.
Big rematch with Dennis Gates, who used to coach be an assistant for Leonard Hamilton at Florida State. So there's a lot of bad blood happening on the court tonight.
I'm going to get a little lunch. I'm going to go hit a bucket of balls. I'm going to watch some TPC.
Out here?
I'm
You're going to hit a bucket of balls
St.
out here?
John's. I'm going to go to my home course and hit that bucket of balls, and on we go. Have a great weekend.
Why, thank you so much. Y'all do the same.
All right, Lauren Brooks, Taylor Dalmia O'Brien coming your way. Tone, always fun to be out here with you for the players for another year. So hope they keep inviting us back. I had a guy yesterday hit me up on Twitter. He goes, man, your budget must be much bigger than the Chicago radio stations. I'm like, you realize the media gets in free, right? He goes, oh, I didn't realize that. Wow. Like, are there people out there thinking we're paying to be out at every Jaguar game? Maybe. I don't know. All right. Hey, we appreciate you listening. Thanks to Tom McManus for stopping by. Great job by Dylan Denmark all week. Molly McDonald, Jack O'Brien with the updates. Appreciate them. For Tony Smith, I'm Mike Dempsey. Stick around. Helmets and Heels is next on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
You're at the home of the